with A Meeple Family, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your day is going great. So, I do say it's another day to enjoy the best hobby in the world, board games, and I am primarily a solo board gamer. That is what I love personally when I play games, but I'm gonna show you one that's a little different. I don't typically like these kind of games. I was actually sent this by the Ops Games, and I really feel like they have been doing such an amazing job with their games lately. They said that they needed people to review this, and I literally saw this cover and I was like, I don't even care what it is. I want to review it. So this is called Paper Paranoia, and it's a social deduction game. So you've got a couple people that are working for a competitor paper company, and basically you have to deduce who they are, and by the end of the game you need to make your decision to hire the correct people that are Dunder Mifflin supporters. So I'm going to show you how this game plays and then kind of walk you through my thoughts at the end of the video. Okay, so let's quickly talk about how you set up the game. That's really going to give you a good idea, and then we'll go through kind of what a turn looks like, and I'll briefly talk about whether you win, whether you lose, and then of course once we get to the end of the game, what that looks like as well. So to get started, you've got 3 departments you can choose from. You have got sales, customer service, and accounting. You're going to get a unique ability based on what department you work in. So each of these departments have asymmetric abilities, and they are one-time use. So once you use it, you just flip over your intern card. But there are rewards that you can earn throughout the game to actually allow you a second opportunity to use your special ability again, which is really cool. So you have the capacity, if you get the right reward cards, to use these special abilities multiple times throughout the game. So we're gonna go around the table, and the first person is going to pick whether they wanna be in sales, customer service, or accounting. So we'll just say the first person picks accounting. So they're gonna take that special ability card as well as a little ID badge here, and then the next person is going to go. Now the only rules here is they have to pick from the piles that have the most. So they can either choose from sales or customer service because they each have 3, and then accounting only has the 2. So they won't be able to access that one right now. The reason is just to make sure that these are evenly distributed. So we'll say they take customer service, and then the next person will be forced to take sales. Okay, and then this fourth person will get the choice of any of them because they're all even again. So we'll say that they will also take sales, and we'll go ahead and take one more customer service for our scenario here because I played at a 5-player count. So we'll kind of do that too here for our example. All right, then we can put the other badges and stuff away. The next thing you're gonna have to do, because I am doing a 5-player scenario here, is we're gonna have to remove any of these tasks that say 6 interns because of course we're only playing with 5. So we just have a couple to remove here, and we'll set those outside or back in the box. Then we're gonna have to hand out loyalty cards. So we're gonna need 1 Osprey player, and then the other 4 are going to be Dunder Mifflin players. Now you can look at the rule book depending on your player count. I think once you get to the 6 to 8 player count, you actually get the 2 Osprey players, which is kind of nice. I feel like that makes the game a little bit more challenging. And then everyone is going to get their loyalty card. They're going to want to, of course, keep this secret. For instance, I got Dunder Mifflin, which means I am trying to successfully complete these tasks. Whoever got the Osprey player is trying to sabotage the game. That's how they win. You're next going to put the Michael Scott head on week 1. Every turn, we're going to move the week counter up until we get to 12 weeks. And then we have this Dwight bobblehead that's going to go right here. And every time we fail a task, we're going to move that forward on our strikes. If we reach the very last one here, which is branch closed, we actually still go through what the game calls game set match point Scott. And that is when we actually decide who to hire as an intern to see if we were able to deduce who was the Osprey paper employee. Okay, and then we have this little Dundee left here, and someone is going to need to be our first player. I will just have this player go first, and I'll kind of walk you through a turn. I think that'll be a great way to show you how the game works. I did want to show you one other thing. We have these office supply cards. So these are going to have a number and then also an item, which is typically pictured here. Okay, there's several different items that you're going to find with different corresponding values. And there's also going to be these sabotage cards in here. So these sabotage cards are going to come up as we're trying to fulfill task. And basically it's just a roadblock that usually the head intern or the group who is playing is going to have to contribute maybe different cards, different numerical cards, or different items to be able to get through that sabotage to complete the task. Now, sometimes you're in a position where you as a Dunder Mifflin employee don't have anything in your hand to play except sabotage cards. That's okay, you just have to play what you can play. But most of the time, the Osprey employee is wanting to throw these in to really, cause some chaos in the game. So in addition, we are all in this player count going to get 6 different office supply cards, and these are going to help us, like I said, fulfill these different tasks that we're going to be presented with. So as the head intern, it's my job to reveal our first task. And this one says, help Dwight beat the machine. Reveal 3 cards. If at least one of them is leads, you succeed. So you can see here that this says 5 interns. That means that we're gonna need all 5 players to play. But there might be other ones that maybe show a range, either 4 or 5, or it'll say 3 interns, and certain departments have to be represented. That is why we have these little badges. So if certain departments have to be represented or there's a limited number of players, you're gonna put this out in front of you to know that you are actively playing that particular task. In this one, because it's 5 interns, we're all playing. So for this one, I actually don't have any lead cards, so I would just want to play something face down that would at least help contribute or not sabotage this particular task, okay? And then basically everyone's going to go. So here's one lead. So they would play that face down, and then everyone's, like I said, going to contribute what they can based on the cards that they have. Yikes, we don't have a lot of lead cards. So this one may be a failure. Once all players have contributed to the task, you're always going to draw the top of the card from the office supplies deck to represent Ryan also contributing a card, which if you don't know, Ryan is the intern that is in the actual TV show. So he always contributes a card unless the task says otherwise. You're gonna secretly shuffle these up, and basically we're going to reveal one at a time until we have successfully completed the task. Okay, if we complete the task, we are going to be able to spin the reward wheel, which is right here, and it basically just gives each player or some players different rewards to help them succeed throughout the game. This one, we did not succeed, so we actually move our Dwight bobblehead up on the strike section, and then play would continue just like this, and we would have the first player or the head intern go to our left, and that is it. It is as simple as that. There are really, really great turn order reference cards here that I absolutely love. You literally follow every single thing on here. They make it really easy to get this to the table. And of course, we would also move Michael's head up to our second week for the next turn. And this is gonna play over 12 rounds. At the end, basically they have a little grid in here. So for 5 players, whoever is the very last head intern is going to get to decide, including themselves, 3 people to hire. And the goal here, of course, is if the team that head intern selects, including themselves, are all the Dunder Mifflin loyalty people, then they win. But if not, and one of the Osprey loyalists is, able to weasel themselves into that final round of hiring, the Osprey players win. So that is basically how the deduction part works, and that is a really quick overview of this game. And just to show you some of the rewards here, because they are really funny, we've got one called Second Drink. We have the Christmas bonus. This allows you to look at that Ryan card before it's added. We have Alfredo's Pizza Cafe. You can look at rewards that other players have. We of course have the Shroot Bucks. So lots of nods, free pretzel, lots of nods here to those of us that love The Office. If you guys love The Office, you're gonna love this game. So let me switch the camera around and I will tell you my final thoughts. Okay, so here are my thoughts about this game. I find the gameplay to be extremely simple, which really is important. I think in a social deduction game, you're not looking for an extensive gameplay. You want something that gives you a storyline, and you want to be able to figure out who those Osprey employees are. Okay, we played this at 5 players. That's just what I had as far as, honestly, that's how big my family is, and I couldn't get my 8-year-old to play. I think he probably could have played, but you know how that is when you're trying, he's not old enough. So we played at 5. Now, when you get from 6 to 8, you are able to have 2 of these sabotage players, these Osprey paper players. And I do think that that would actually be more fun. Having one was actually, it was quite difficult in the beginning. It was me. I was the bad person. And I didn't draw any sabotage cards like the entire game, which is all in the office supply cards. Never drew one, but other people were forced to play them because that was literally all they had, which really added to the chaos. I also love that they have the aspect where every time you are in a challenge, for the most part, unless the task card says otherwise, you draw a card for Ryan. And I really like this because as someone playing like on my own, against everyone else as the Osprey Paper Company person, it really helped muddy the waters because there was always like this chance that like, oh, maybe you drew that card from the Ryan deck. But yeah, there was some really fun elements to it. I mean, to be honest with you, if you are an Office fan, which my whole family is, we all watch The Office. It was so much fun, like to read through the different task cards, and there's quotes on there, the different office supplies, which, you know, the office supplies are kind of, you know, they are what they are. I think there's like 5 different ones, plus all the sabotage cards. But besides that, you have the rewards, which again, there's a lot of duplicates of those. It's like the same, I think, I want to say like 5 or 6 different rewards that you can get. The little chore wheel, you know, from the episode with the, yeah, spin the wheel. We were all chanting. A lot of fun elements if you love The Office. I think this is a great game. And so many people, even like in my extended family, love The Office. So this is one I will definitely bring to family functions. It's easy to teach. It's super fun. I highly recommend it. I think it is such a great game. But thank you guys so much. And thanks to the apps. That was so awesome that they sent me this to review. I always find that to be such a privilege to be able to showcase games. I mean, that is the best. I never take any payment for like the work I do or anything. It's just they send me the game and I get to talk about it, and I love that. So thank you guys so much for supporting me on this adventure, this channel. I'm so grateful to be a part of this community and get to show you great games like this. This was one I really enjoyed, and if you get the opportunity to pick it up, I highly recommend it.